Okay, people. So, Samson. This is the new film, right, from Ruth. Oh, actually, bear with me for a quick second. I seem to have got myself turned around slightly, which is always a pain. Yeah, it's a new film from Ruth. She co-wrote it with David Harry Yoon. The film is produced by Ashley Cohen, Claire Brooks, and co-produced by Alice Lee. Right, Justin Alpern took care of cinematography. Spencer Reich and Christine Valentine take care of editing duties. Phyllis Blue was behind the music. Stephanie Colley and Alice Merlin are on casting. Cynthia Wu is set decoration. And then we get to our cast. Right? So, we've got Alice Lee as Emma. There's Ryan Dance as her ex, Dale. We then have Drew, played by Will Brittain. Joe, played by Emilio Garcia-Sanchez. Yeah, it's a small cast, but boy, do these people deliver. Do these people deliver? Right now, I think this is the first film David Harry Yoon has written, which, yeah, and I think it's the only the third film from Ruth, right? So, man, right, very impressive indeed. The gist, right? It tells the story of a broken up couple, Emma and Dale, who are forced to work together when they are kidnapped by masked men. Drew and Joe, told through a fractured timeline and multiple perspectives. That's the film. Now, Ruth had this to say. It says, Samson is like that sour piece of candy that has that surprise sweetness in the center, all while being wrapped in the shiny foil of a breakup story. I love exploring characters who are not what they seem and unraveling relationships that are complex yet universal. I wanted to make a movie about a race without making a movie about race. Yes, a movie about race, not about a race. I probably butchered that slightly. So yeah, this was, man, when AJ comes through, right? I really, really enjoyed this. Like we start off and we've got, this couple sitting at this restaurant. Then, she storms off and we want, like, what, he's paying the bill. They run outside and all of a sudden they get kidnapped. And you're like, yo, okay, what is going on here? So they're, in this car, right, in the boot. You know what I mean? And we get all of this kind of dynamic between the two. We figure, there's a lot we figure out from just these few moments, right? Which is fantastic. Now, things then escalate from there. And then we're back to the beginning. right? We're back to the beginning. And so we get to see this initial like interaction between Emma and Dale with more complexity, right? To see all the minutiae, everything that leads to where we are, which is, I mean, as I said, we get some information in the boot, but it becomes even clearer during, the actual sit down, right? You get to see a lot there. And the other interesting thing, we then flip to Drew and Joe, right? Which, I think another film that did something similar, that whole kind of sequence reminded me of, was Gold Purple from the great Marcus Fleming's, right? Having that interaction between some of like these nefarious types, because it also gives you that look into these characters. It makes them more than this one-dimensional archetype, which is fascinating because we also we get to know them, which is also good. And then we get to know their motivations and everything. And as Ruth said, making a film about race without making it so overtly about, right? It's all within the nuance of the conversations, right? And it's making these judgments and everything like that. So all of this, you really get to see it. You really get to see it. And the conversations themselves are really good. They're well written. They do feel real. There's a lot of the time with these things, it can feel a little bit performative, right? But not here. Not here. It's all, we've got Dale and Emma, which does feel like a relationship. Now, maybe not your relationship, right? But we've seen those messy ones, right? Where it's just like, ooh, this ain't on equal terms, right? This is a weird form of love, right? And that's what that is. That's what that is showing us. And then this conversation between Joe and Drew is this odd friendship that is built up, kind of on these weird racial stereotypes, right? And judgments and all of that. We also get to see maybe not everyone is the sharpest tool in the box, right? There's a great moment where Drew is talking about, oh man, how tough it was. And Joe's like, come on, man. You grew up with a four-door garage. He's like, no, it wasn't like that. Only 3 doors. But the sincerity in which Drew says it, that's what else made that moment, right? Because he's just like, no, life was hard, man. You don't even know, right? And it's not the irony in, we had 3 doors, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, it was tough, man. We only had 3 doors. It's tough. You don't know, right? It's just these great moments, right? This film is instilled with these great moments. Now, I will say, early on, I did kind of see where we were going, right? But I feel that's more because I'm watching so many fucking films, people. I'm watching so many films. But even though I was a bit like, okay, I feel this is where we're going. Like, it's only in the manipulation of the event, right? And you can't see the exact ending or all of these things, right? We do get these nice surprises and everything. So that's great. And even knowing, right, it's still not spoiling this film because it is so well put together. We got a great use of close-up, right? A great use of emotion. The cast kill it because, you know, what they're bringing here, you know, they're able to really bring you in, to really make you feel all these things, right? As I said, the part with Drew talking about how many garage doors he had, right? We got Joe talking about, you know, his sister and his mom, all of this, right? Dale, right? Dale's a manipulative piece of shit, but he thinks, right? It's one of those ones where he thinks this is love that he's showing Emma, right? So all of these things are like, oh, right? You see them. It's palpable, right? It's fantastic. And out of nowhere, we had this just incredible musical number. Right? We have this whole music video, essentially, which is just like, yo, what? Because it's in this moment where we're like, fuck. And suddenly you're hit with this. You're like, yo, wait, what is happening right now? But the choice of song is so perfect, right? Because it really speaks volumes to what is happening, to what the relationship is. So just all these things just work perfectly. The music as a whole in the film is great, right? Everything works. Everything about this works, right? The intricacy of the whole trunk sequence, right? You're just like, how the fuck did they film that? That was great. That was great. And then the way this ends, man, like the way this ends, it is kind of like, I don't know, man. You think Inception, just all of those films where you're just like, wait, so no, that means this, right? Right? You're gonna have conversations with your peoples about like, yeah, no. So obviously that happened, or oh, yeah, no, it's because of this, right? That was a driving behind that, right? I think, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of discussion. You're gonna see a lot of comments about this because it's so interesting, right? There's going to be so many interpretations of what this could mean, and it's not in a bad way. It's like you're not feeling cheated. You do not feel like you're being cheated. You know what I mean? It really works. But it's funny because, you know, let's say Ruth says it's like that sour piece of candy with the sweetness surprise, but nah, I wouldn't say that's a sour piece of candy, right? I say it's like a juicy piece of pineapple where, oh man, you take that first bite and you're like, God damn, this is good. And then it just gets juicier and juicier and you're like, God, I love pineapple. Because just all the elements of the film are perfect. Just everything works. This is a very, very enjoyable film. And if you like things like Gold Purple, you're going to thoroughly enjoy Samson. So it's going to be dropping on the 29th of November on all your favorite VODs and DVD. Now, as far as I'm aware, I think this is only stateside, right? I'm not quite sure when it's coming UK. I'll see if I can find out and I will let you know. All right, people, but 29th, mark it down because Samson is dropping on that day.